So let me show you something that most people just like about Angular. This is what we call, it's not two-way binding, but it's binding, a property binding and an event binding. And we'll get into this later on, but let's just try and make an input field here just to show you something that's pretty cool. So first of all, I'm making an input field, not putting anything in there, saving my code and just showing you guys that now we have an input field. Yeah, you can put stuff in there. That's good stuff, Lars. Congratulations. So going back here, let's try and change the input field a little bit. What we want to do is we want to kind of explain to the input field that every time you put something, the value that you start up with in the input field should be the same value that's in the title right now. So I'm going to try and explain what input I want in the input field at startup, right? And you can do that using square brackets like this to explain I want to get something inside the value of the input field. Now the value field is actually for an input. If you know a bit of HTML, that's actually the field where you normally set information about what the input field should be pre-defined with or pre-filled with. And inside the value, I'm just going to say I want the value to be the title, right? That's this title down here. That's what I want to be put inside the value. So I'm just saving the application right now. I'm jumping back to my view right here. Now you'll see it starts out with hi all, right? That's cool, but what's the value of that? Well, that means that you can start actually giving input fields input directly from your properties. Okay, I'll buy that. Now that's the one-way binding for actually getting data from a TS file to an HTML file. But what if we want to actually start putting data back into the title file? How could we do that? So right now, when we're getting input, we use the square brackets to set value. But what if we want to kind of get values back to the TS file? You'll have to use parentheses. So I'm putting in a parenthesis right here, and what I'm going to put inside the parentheses is going to be input. Now we'll talk more about this. I'm just going to give you a very basic example of how to do this right now, just to show you the power of Angular, and we'll talk a lot more about it. Now I'm going to put in something here I'm just going to paste it in. So what this actually is it's saying that for the input field, whenever you change the input, whenever you make a change, like type in a new character, automatically go and take every piece of information from that input field and put it into the title field. So now we have two-way binding. Whenever I type stuff in, I'll update the title, and whenever I start the app or start the application, it'll automatically go and grab the input and put it in here, right? Why is that valuable? What can we use that for? Let's see what it actually did inside the code. Notice, again, if we go back, notice here it says title right here, and it also says title here. So when I start the application now, it starts out by putting in hi all here and here. Now the cool thing is, because of two-way binding or because of property binding and event binding, I can actually start now typing here, dip, 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 and notice it gets down here right away. Yay! Because this guy knows about the title, and this guy knows about the title, and whatever I put in here, I'm putting that into the title. I hope that makes sense, but it pretty much means that, and don't worry, when you work with this, it'll start making more and more sense. So this is just showing you the power of this. So whenever I change the input field, I'll take the value of the input field and put it inside the title, and automatically Angular will update this field and this field for me, right? So let's just, as the final thing here, add another guy here, right? And this is going to do the exact same thing. I'll save it, going back now I have two input fields here, and if I put in stuff here, it'll update there and there and there and there. And let's just try and do one final thing just to show you. And I really encourage you guys to start playing around with this. Let's just remove the value field here to show you now only one of the input fields has information in the beginning. If I put stuff in here, nothing happens in the other one. But if I put stuff in here, the other one's update. Now you can have a look at that and you can try and understand it for now. But I just wanted to show you one of the very cool thing about binding of properties in between the TS file and the HTML file, and this is how they're kind of bound together. Next lesson, let's try and do some more fun. See you next time.